I'm Sarah from the upcoming.
Hi, Sarah. Hey, I'm Claes.
Lovely to have you here at the 2025 Berlinale. For people who haven't seen Mother's Baby yet, what can they expect going in?
Well, they can sort of expect a movie about, how the world will always tell you that if you have a baby, be bloody happy about it. And I think it's much more common than we know that you can't live up to that. That you come home with this newborn, and in this story, especially the mother feels quite estranged, quite sort of an alienation, that she can't really connect with a child and does not feel, the kind of joy that the whole world tells you you're supposed to feel. So it's really about that. I feel that's sort of what I got into when I read the script. Yeah, I'd say that's sort of the overall.
And as someone who had a kid 4 years ago, I could probably relate more than I'd care to admit to a lot of sort of the moments. So she captures it so well.
Is it not true that I think even if you do feel that sort of joy, there'll definitely be days when you're like, will someone please come fetch the child and take it somewhere else for a week because I need my peace and my calm.
Or even the fact that, we're in 2025 now and you feel like things, there's some kind of progress in terms of gender roles. And then suddenly overnight, you do feel like you become, back in the 1950s. And I love the way she captures the subtlety of, the equality she had with her partner, the position and status she had in her career, just suddenly fall away from her. And she almost feels like she's being gaslit, to think that that's not...
Totally. When the child arrives, they're like in the 1950s, and you fit it straight into those roles. And wow, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, also.
I was really, so it's obviously a very personal story in a way for Johanna, but she probably had that choice, do I do this as a straight up drama? But she decided to, go into the psychological thriller territory, which I feel like a lot of female directors are finding it quite like, as a medium to kind of make manifest some of these preoccupations and anxieties you have. I was thinking of Mariel Heller's Night Bitch as well. So what do you think it is about maybe using the tropes of genre to help tell these sorts of stories?
I think that what works really well, this being a thriller, is that, the whole idea of coming home from the hospital, you used to be two people, now you're three. Now you have another person with you in your house, where you live, and you don't feel any connection to that child. And that is so scary. I felt that is what works really well with a thriller, and it is obviously a device and a vehicle of having the story move and have and these dodgy things that happen with my character, the doctor, but I really feel that it plays into that whole thing that we just talked about the alienation of the whole thing, and where you feel like, because I can't imagine what it would have been like, to have a child and then come home and you're like, there's a stranger in my house, and I'm supposed to love this, and it's not really how it is. I feel more odd than I feel good.
And your character, Dr. Vilfor, I mean, you play it so well because, he's so sort of charming, so charismatic, seems like he's only there to do good.
Yes.
But we do feel just, even from, the opening scenes, maybe something's just slightly off.
But is that real, or is that because it's a thriller when you watch it? Because we really tried to play it straight. We really tried to be like, he wants to do good. He wants to help these people. And because he really wants to help, and because he's made this promise, he perhaps oversteps his what he's allowed to do, right?
Well, I wondered if it's that thing of, the villain never thinks they're the villain.
No, exactly. It's really important.
From his perspective, he's never doing anything wrong.
No.
Did you enjoy kind of leaning into that?
Yeah, but I really enjoyed doing this. This was really, it was such a lovely bunch of people, and I really thought the story was so good. And I think it's kind of a crazy good story to tell, because when I've spoken with people about what is this movie about, so many more people than I imagined say to me, oh, my sister or myself, or, it's out there. It happens a lot more than we like to talk about, I think. So that, yeah, it really was a pleasure doing it. And they're lovely. They're lovely, these, my fellow people here.
Was it different for you not working? I mean, you sort of worked in all different languages, but it was funny for me seeing you play a role not in English.
Yeah.
Does it come very smoothly to you? Does it change the character somehow?
I feel that my German is sort of at the same sort of level as my English and my Danish. I'll tell you this. I did a movie this fall in Paris where 65-70% of the dialogue was in French, which is a language I don't speak. And that made me realize what a restraint it is to be in a language where I can't move freely. I had to say to the other actors, I'm terribly sorry, you need to stick to what is in the script, because I can't follow you if you go somewhere else. So for the German, yeah, no, it's this one. I'm actually all the time looking for German projects also, because I think there's something. It's good for me, for the whole apparatus here, for the whole engine, to sort of like get oiled and greased, and I feel that, you know, you stretch yourself a little bit in that direction, and then when you try and when you're challenged with these different, so that was sort of a part of it, yeah. So, but that said, I would never choose to go and do a movie in a language just because it has to be good. Yeah. So it was that. It was the content and the people, and then it was in German, and I really loved that because I haven't done anything in German for a bit, so that was really cool. I'm hoping. I've got a read through of something that I'm hopefully filming this summer here in Berlin. I just think that we just need the last bits and bobs of something to come together.
And you were saying about your fellow cast. I mean, Marie is just phenomenal as Julia. I'd also seen Julia Franz Richter in another like horror type film, so it was quite funny seeing her in this. It was like almost like blurring the different characters.
Whoa.
But yeah, Marie is just because she doesn't actually speak that much, and she's a kind of a reserved person. So there's so much being conveyed, just in these really subtle expressions. But you feel like you're right there with her.
But I think it becomes very palpable, that whole feeling of who are you? Who is this person? What? I'm now playing very, very loud music to the baby, and it must be very. I mean, it must be like when you're with someone and you just try to connect, and there's just nothing going on. Yeah, but it's really cool, very interesting, and she's marvelous. She's brilliant.
What do you think people will take away from watching it? Do you think?
I don't know. I really, you know, that I always have a little bit of a problem with that question, because I hope people will take away what they want. I think I've had my say. When I made the movie, I've had my say in what I want to convey. So people should take what they want. But I definitely hope that some of the things that we've talked about, you know, talking about this whole thing that seems to be quite a taboo, perhaps it can help a conversation about these things, so that people will come out and say, well, actually, I had 2 months of that when I had my child, and I felt guilty, and I felt wrong, and I think it'd be good if people do not feel that, because I think it's much more common than we thought it would be.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a case of just being seen. It's not like it's offering any answers.
No.
Just to know that it's not something, because
there.
can make you feel crazy.
I'm not alone in this. It's happened to someone else, or at least to that woman in this movie. Yeah.
Did you have a favourite scene in the making of it?
Well, the very last scene, when she's come to the hospital, to the clinic, and she's done her roaming through everything, and she's in the bed, and I sort of have to try and explain to her, can we just not talk too much about it? I really enjoyed filming that, because there was so many. How far should we take this? Should he become quite nasty now, or should he still be? So there was very good scene. I really enjoyed doing that. Yeah.
And you always seem to make interesting decisions with your career, never kind of stick to one thing, gone through so many different genres, you know, with The Square and Dracula and obviously William Tell recently. Do you enjoy kind of being able to just dive into different kinds of...
I've been so fortunate that people have like put all these chunks of very interesting things on my desk, really. Yeah, I like, you know, the diversity of it, and I like that I'm not sort of like stuck in. There does seem to be like a lot of villains, even if they are.
You're too good at it.
even if they, but I mean, so there's a big difference from like Dracula to the one in Bad Sisters to this one. I mean, even if there are villains, it's different ones, really. Yeah. So yeah, no, I really enjoy that, and I consider myself so lucky that, you know, that this whole palette of all these that is being offered to me. So I just try and embrace it, really. But of course, it's also like it really helps you if it's just something quite different, because you don't have to sort of think, oh, this is sort of like the character, just how do I make this different? Because I think that would be something that I might think if it was like always the same. So I've just been very lucky. Keep it that way, please.
Any genres you haven't tried yet? Any director you'd love to work with? Any other actor you'd like to be alongside?
The one that I would so have loved to work with just died, sadly, Lynch. That would have been my dream come true. He is the outstanding one for me. I love all his movies. Yeah. So that would been that would have been. So I have to come up with a new one now that he's sadly away.
And finally, what does it mean to you to have the film here at the Berlinale? Why do you like... I feel like it's a festival that does have a lot of kind of, you know, provocative, really original storytelling.
Listen, it is. I love this city. I probably love London most, and then this one. But I so love being here, and I have not been here I used to come here all the time. I've worked here a lot, but I have not been here for 5 years, since COVID, actually. So I am, but I'm just, you know, I don't know how many movies that are submitted to a festival like this, but it is an insane number. So to get picked is just, you're just very proud. So thank you for that.
100%. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me.
Absolutely.
Huge congratulations on the film, and can't wait to see what you do next. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, let's see what happens.